Go in there. And then let's see, it says, da, 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 da. Now I'm going to let you, first of all, I'm going to make you a co-host, of course. Let's see. So, da, 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 da. There you
He'll
go.
get there. He'll get there. All right. Let me see what it lets me do now. No, I don't want to stop recording.
Yeah,
Is it gonna let me record?
yeah, it should. Oh, come on now.
No, you can speak. Yeah, no. No, I think if I do anything, it's going to mess with your recording, is what it looks like. So I'm gonna just let it be. You're gonna have to share it with me somehow.
Well, no, I will absolutely. I'll send it right over, but it usually has the ability to my Facebook.
Because I can see the recording buttons, but it only lets me shut off what you're already recording. So we don't want to do that.
Oh no, we don't want to do that.
All
Well,
right.
I will try to find out more about this. I learn a little more every week. Ha.
I understand technology is fun, but hey, we got people here. So please, Mr. Fred Van Liew, enlighten us with your knowledge about how do we, what's this darn electromagnetic chaos stuff doing to us, and how do we protect ourselves?
Well, one of the first things it does is it makes you evaporate on screen, on and off, as
You're too funny.
Hey, look.
Yeah,
Ooh.
you can just
There we go.
exactly how to here. But actually, that is the principle that's involved in vaporizing. It is called electromagnetic radiation, and it's all right spinning, left spinning electron stuff, and it literally can vaporize a solid like laser, only even more intense. And so think about, see, the reason I'm wearing this shirt, you see how all the colors and the waves are going on all. Think about that as the electromagnetic radiation swirling around you constantly now from all kinds of sources. Now I'll get into what the symptoms are when that is going on. Hello, Darlene. Darlene Sartori. It's been a while since I've seen you. Yeah.
Well, I've been quite sick.
Oh, man. Well, that's when you're supposed to call, young lady.
I know, but you helped me great. You helped me.
Doesn't mean you have to stop. Doesn't mean just send me money and I'll help. I'm kidding, of course. The second part, I mean. The first part, no, I'm kidding. All right. But the important part here is that you have your cells are being bombarded with electromagnetic radiation. It's called microwave from an infinite number of sources now. It's really so out of control. Started maybe with one of the first cell phones. Well, on a small degree, regular phones always gave something off. But remember when you took your cell phone to close to your regular phone and you got static like that, or your radio? Some of you are old enough to remember that. Darlene, yes, thank you. I don't feel so alone anymore. These youngins over here, these Kramers, they're too young to remember that. Anyway, that's, the cell phone itself was emitting all of that radiation, enough to jam up a radio or your other phone. And then I had Dr. Peterson. He had done his research and he found that a cell phone, when it came out, was the second most powerful source of radiation on the on the moon, other than the sun. Can you imagine? Yeah, I mean, this guy was a really thorough researcher, and a cell phone, second most powerful source of radiation when they came out, other than the sun, if you were standing on the moon. And it's like, whoa, that's scary. But if you remember, and even now, if you hold a cell phone up to your head long enough, you're going to start feeling the heat. And first your ear and then your side of your head is heating up. And some people thought it was the battery heating up their head. No, it's the cell phone microwave cooking your brain from the inside out. Literally, it's agitating the cells to where they generate the heat. and they cook themselves. Now, I do have a question. How do you uncook a cooked hot dog after you've microwaved it? No.
No.
So the damage is permanent. Now, the body regenerates, but think about it. The children, the women who put their cell phone, in their bra, and you ask any oncologist how many women per month they have to cut off the cancer. I mean, people ignored these basic truths. People who put their cell phone in their pocket, they get dry skin. And it happened to me. And I had cell phone protection, but that's when it was only about about 93%. There's nothing else out there that even comes close to that. But my cell phone protection now is up to 99%. But just that 6% that was getting through created a dry patch on my leg. And at first I was like, what's that? And it's exactly where the phone was in my pocket. I just got tired of putting it on a clip because it would keep snapping off when I was in a car or something. And I don't like losing phones. So, but I keep my phone in my pocket now because I have up to 99% protection with my EMR Smart Patch, which is like 4 times the size of my original EMR patch. So protecting yourself, it's not an option anymore. So what's going on? All right, so we had the cell phones and then the cell phone towers. When cell phone towers first went up, they found that, or actually when the first FM towers went up, that was a way low grade of what's going on now. But FM radio towers, they found that cancer rates within a certain radius of those towers, a certain number of miles, I don't know the specifics, we'd have to ask Dr. Peterson, but unfortunately he's passed on. They found the cancer rates dramatically increased. And this was around not just one, but every FM tower. And so it was like, So when cell phones came out, oh, by the way, they buried that research. And 2 additional sets of researchers tried to duplicate that, and they did, but their funding was immediately shut off. And that's when it comes to research. Remember, researchers ask, what results do you want? Because researchers make their living. Susan, you must be sickly because all I see is gray. It's not good to have a gray complexion. You should turn your camera on if you can. But anyway.
She hasn't been feeling well.
Oh, please give me a call. Let's find out. I will listen. Let's find out what's going on. And Darlene will tell you. At the very least, I can help significantly. And the very best, we'll get you over it sooner and at less cost than you really ever thought possible. So, my arm gets tired because I'm always patting myself on the back. Actually, I don't. The reason my fingernails are so shiny is I'm always going and then rubbing it on my chest. Anyway, folks, you can't take yourself too seriously. All right. I am the best at what I do, but there are other people that know parts of what I do much better, and I rely on them, to keep it really tight and on track. So with they hired Dr. Carlo. When the first phones came out, and it was obvious that they were causing some problems. So they hired Dr. Carlo to prove that there was no significant danger from cell phones. And Dr. Carlo did his research, and it is in my book, which of course I don't have right here in front of me, nor right. Boy, that was real good planning, Fred. Anyway, so my book on adrenal exhaustion and chronic fatigue, how to stop the nightmare. And in there I describe how Dr. Carlo had originally called me. And what happened is he had done his research, found that cell phones most certainly did cause a problem. So they fired him right away, just like they cut off the funding to the researchers who duplicated the research that they buried on the FM towers. And researchers quickly learned that, you've got to provide the results that the people paying the bill want, or the funding will be cut off to you, and or the real problem is they cut it off to the school. So it's the universities that put the pressure on the researchers to, hey, guys, play the game. I was asked with my first shower filter, when I sent it to the national testing labs, Jerry Tome was one of my friends I knew, and it's still one of the best labs to send your water to be tested. I said, will you test the filter and find out what? He says, well, what results are you looking for? I said, what do you mean? He said, we tell us what results you're looking for, and we'll gear the test to get as close to that as possible. I said, what? People, listen to this. I said, I want you to hook it up to the city water, test the city water beforehand, and then test it after it goes through my filter every 100 gallons at the flow rate at 2 gallons a minute. And and he said, yeah, but we can get much better results if we start with distilled water and just put the elements in that, I said, you're kidding. No, he said, everyone does that. I said, well, look, I want it done my way. And that way I can tell my doctors and their patients the results are real-time results, because it's going to be different depending on where they are, what kind of water they're starting with. I mean, it all alters the chemistry and the removal. I just need to, prove the removal is very significant. So they ran the test, came back, and he said to me, Fred, we've never had a shower filter like this. He said, and you say, what does this have to do with microwave? Well, anyway, it's a rabbit trail. I'm used to that. But he said, this thing is like 92% reduction of just straight city water. We've never had a filter could do that. If you'd let us do it in the lab, we could. I said, Jerry, the results are fine. Let me do this. But folks, every time I've sent anything in to be tested, I always get the question, what results are you looking for? Is that sick? Well, anyway, so Dr. Carlo they fired him, but he's out there and he's, speaking, and evidently he came by one of my booths at some major, health thing where I was speaking at, and he purchased my cell phone protection. And he called me a while after. Now, I didn't know he had purchased it. I honestly didn't. And he called, he said, look, I would, love to be able to speak about your protection because it's the best I've ever tested. I've got it in my book. He said, but I can't say that unless I actually do the official, testing with the Petri dishes and all. And what I like about that is the testing cell response to the microwave with and without the cell phone protection, etc. And even the EP2, he loved the EP2. And that's before it was the EP2 plus. But he said, the amount of protection is amazing. He says, you even have, yours even supports this I already knew, but I didn't know he could actually figure out that he did this, but he did. He said it supports the DNA, the natural ability of the body to repair the damaged DNA, because the microwave from the phone damages the DNA. I said, you're absolutely right. That's the seventh thing that from the German research that is built into our cell phone patch, which why others ignore that, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But ours does it. And he said, and he said the cost that it would need. Yeah, he was looking for money to do the research. It wasn't a lot, but it was more than I had because I got a lot of products and I can't just dump thousands and thousands of dollars into the research. It would have been magnificent, but the cost of the patch would soar. And I'm all about making things available and affordable, or people won't and can't do it as it is. Mine are not the least expensive. They're not the most expensive, but they're the most effective. And that's the most important when it regards your health. So I'm a very practical guy. I'm an observational scientist. I'm not a theoretical. So I don't care what you think. I care what I can observe. I don't care what your research supposedly shows. I care first about what I observe consistently as far as result, and then I look at your research. And that could take months. That's what I've done for years and years. So, but what it has done is it gets the respect of any doctors and healers and clients that want the results and get the results, and they realize very quickly that if I say it, you can take it to the bank. Now, all of this sounds like, oh, hey, if I don't let you know why you should be listening to me, why would you listen to me? And you can check it out in my book that you can download at absolutely no cost to you. It's your gift from the Kramers on highenergyhealing.com, because there's only so much I can say in the limited time we have. And, I've only got like 44 years of learning and research and working with some of the greatest healers. And I mean, some of these brilliant scientists, they speak another language, trust me, especially when they're Russian. And literally but they are on a different plane. And I'll listen to them and let them demonstrate. And I'll say, so you mean, and I'll put it into English. And I kid you not, it's almost universal. They all go, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. They love the fact that I make it understandable, but I first have to understand it. And it's really, that's something. So you're going to hear about some protection that is the finest you can find out there. But more importantly, it is so necessary today. Why, Fred? Why is it so necessary? All right, because people aren't sleeping. Any of you have any friends that aren't sleeping well? Raise your hand. Okay. Any of you have any friends that are tired during the day, and not because of age, not because they have a baby, they're just exhausted all the time? You know that? Yeah. And I know you're raising your hand for though you know people like that because you yourself were like that. Yeah. And digestion a little touchy or a lot touchy. Yeah. Slow to heal. You get sick and it just goes on and on and on. This is universal now, universal around the world. This is not a game. They've put over 20 some odd thousand satellites up there, microwaving every square inch of our planet at the highest levels for navigation, and so that you can drive cars without people. Ain't working so well, by the way. And and all this nonsense. Now, Elon Musk, who's brilliant, but he wants to put another 15 to 20,000 satellites up there on top of what's already there. Now, this is microwave. It is the same microwave that you cook your hot dogs with, that you heat up your tea with, that you shouldn't be ingesting, because it alters the structure, the molecular structure of the water, of the food, and your body goes, huh? What is that? And if you could see what it does to your blood, I bought a $1,700 microscope just to see what's happening when you ingest anything microwaved. When you ingest anything microwaved, and within a couple of minutes, your blood is going berserk. And within 3 or 4 minutes, it looks like a desert that just totally dried out. I kid you not, just one little prick of your blood from your finger. Now, before that, it didn't look like that. So I would take the test and several people, including myself. And then you're going to hear about Quanta water to revive those cells that have just been flattened by 5G with the worst of the worst and everything in between, which I will share. But pricking the finger and testing it, and then taking, now normally you just take a teaspoon of the Quanta water, but I wanted to test this, so I took about 2 ounces of the Quanta water, and a couple of minutes later, pricked my finger again, put it in there, and it looked like, you remember those little sponge animals where you put it in water and they go, that's what I saw under the microscope, and you can see the same thing, and I recorded it. It's fascinating. Nothing more hydrating, nothing that'll support and restore cell function faster than Quanta water. And there's not much out there that will restore cell function once it's been flattened, which you may have found with your friends. And if you haven't used Quanta water yet, you haven't found a solution yet either, and you won't. It affects your body's ability to heal. It affects your body's ability to utilize nutrition. In effect, those cells, as particularly your bone marrow cells, they are the army that's there to do what needs to be done any millisecond it needs to be done. And you have perfect intelligence in every cell. When you understand and agree with that, you will understand why it's so important to focus on protecting those cells and restoring the cells. You see, I'm not here to talk about products until you understand the need for a solution. Then I talk about solutions, because the solutions may change, but the problems don't. the solutions, I hope, if I'm involved, they're better and better and better. What I've got is the best out there. If you ever find something better, I plead with you, please tell me. I will test it. If it's better, you will see what I've got disappear so fast. And whatever it is you put, I will have it out there. That's the promise I made 3 decades ago to the doctors and to their patients, and I have stuck to it. You will not find better. You will find people talking a good talk. Oh, Fred, you talk a good talk too. Yeah, but I give a 6-month money-back guarantee on every appliance I sell. Who else does that? Ha! In other words, you're not going to understand the quantum physics, the quantum biology. You're not going to understand all that. We could talk till you're blue, your eyes are rolling back in your head and all. You're not going to understand it. It doesn't mean anything. What matters is, what does it do for you? What's the benefit to you? What benefit do you experience? And if you don't experience it, why not get your money back? Oh, those others, they don't give you your money back. You bought it, you got it. All right. Within 6 months, you darn well better have experienced the benefits that I explain you need and will experience, or send it back and you get your money back. Now, I will tell you, the only time I really get any requests are near Christmas. Can you imagine why? It's usually only a couple, but they're broken. They need presents for the kids. And I tell them, I say, look, and please don't do this, but I say, look, keep your appliance. You need the appliance. If you need money, tell me. Not about the appliance. Tell me. I'll send you some money. But don't pretend, it's not working. I had one person ask me 2 years later. It was so funny. So funny. Did it through a third party, by the way, requesting that. My rabbit trails. I hope you like my rabbit trails. You're not going to get bored listening to me. You may not learn anything, but you won't get bored. So let's go back to what the problem is. Okay, so you're cooking your brain with your cell phone. You're cooking your leg if it's down there. You're cooking your breast and your cells there if you're putting in your bra. Men put it in their pocket right over their heart. Dumb, stupid. I mean, really. We do a good enough job of screwing up our circulation and our hearts without putting a cell phone right there, microwaving the heart the whole time. Really? Because everything, the perfect intelligence that God has put in every cell called the DNA, and the whole body is an electrical system, but it was never designed to handle the Wi-Fi routers. You used to open your computer and you'd get 1 or 2 signals, your neighbors and yours, right? Now you open it up and you got 22 choices, right? With very few exceptions. Now, if your crude computer can pick up all that, what do you think your body's picking up? And it's all microwave. Some people, and then of course you got your smart meters outside your house. Oh, those are fun. Those are powerful, powerful, powerful. Remember, they're sending signals out, they're bringing signals in. And I mean, I could take you, if I take my protection, I originally, the EMR cell phone patch that, which is this right here, that goes on the cell phone, literally between your cell phone case and the cell phone, or stick it on the cell phone, it very stays there. That cell phone patch was designed for the smart meters. And so I had it designed and I put it in, and I even still have one on the wiring inside my garage, on the inside wall where the smart meter is on the outside. Now, without that there, I could take my wife and I could be like 6 or 10 feet away and she would still go weak, just standing there in the garage. I put the patch there on the wiring inside between the smart meter and the garage, and anywhere we go in the garage, she stays absolutely strong, even if she's right there on the wall, touching the wall. I love this stuff. I don't have to understand all of it. My geniuses have to understand that stuff, but I have to make sure it works. Now, if it'll do that to a smart meter, what do you think it'll do for your little phone, your little computer? It really, really works. Now, they have a life, about 18 months, 20 months, depending on your cell phone. because your cell phone is roasting that patch. Once you put it on, the computer the same way. So they don't last forever, but about as long as you'll keep your phone in most cases. And, if you keep your phone longer, you'll have to replace it with another. It's a very wise investment, folks. That cell phone is with us all the time. Now, those who have kids, you think your kids don't need protection? When you're roasting the brain, when you're roasting those cells, do you think it's affecting their ability to focus? You think that never mind what the satellites are doing to them, which is really, really roasting them, flattening them. All right. What do you think? Now, see, some people even put Alexis in their home or one of the hybrids of that. Alexis is pure microwave. Hey, Alexis, and it broadcasts back to you or microwave. Oh, yeah, let's microwave everyone, the pets, the kids, everyone in the house. And if you don't have protection, you have a problem. Now, personal protection, EP2 Plus. This is an accessing and amplifying, a virtual radio receiver and amplifier of the natural harmonics that are out there, that God has put out there, but we've smushed way down with all of this electromagnetic overwhelm I'm talking about. So we're trying to survive with this much support, coherent support. Yeah, it's coherence, not the chaos. All of what's being manufactured out there is pure chaos. But the coherence is what supports cell function. Well, that's not there anymore. In fact, it's affecting the animals. People aren't thinking about the crops. The food you're eating, it doesn't have any energy anymore. It's negative energy. The water on the shelves, the water coming into your house, it no longer is even in a slightly positive energy. It's all negative energy. You're drinking the water, even after you filter it. It's now at least filtered to pure water, but negative energy water, sucking the life out of you more. So where is the energy resource coming from that supports you? It's not coming, which is why you're so tired, which is why your cells are just asleep all the time. They're not showing up for work. Most people that are out there, when you see them and meet them, if they're a woman, they're 0.25% or less, 99% of the time now. 0.25%. Fred, what does that mean? Well, 0.25% means 1 in about 400 of your body cells and commensal cells is showing up for work. Exciting, isn't it? If you had a business and you were paying 400 employees, but only one showed up every day, how's your business doing? And that, folks, is why those people feel like crap. It used to be 1% was terrible. When I'd meet a woman who was 1%, because more women have lower cell function. Let's put it, they take on more of the crap that's going on in the family and out there than men. All right. We're just, I don't know, too thick to even realize some of it's going on. But they would, if they were at 1%, I'd just look at them and I'd say, your life is hell, isn't it? And they'd burst out crying because they're always smiling. No one knows how bad their life is. I used to say your life sucks, doesn't it? But it's a bad word, so I won't say that on this call. So anyway, I got the laugh out of Cheyenne. That was for you, Cheyenne. But they'd burst out crying because no one knew how bad it was for them. You wake up in the morning and it's not just, why am I getting up, but why am I staying on the planet? I mean, nothing's functioning. Not the brain, not the digestion, nothing. But I had a solution. Now, 0.25%, and women are less than 0.25%. A lot of them now. It's that bad. I don't know how you guys even manage. It's terrible. Now, most guys are about 0.5%. They're not doing much better, gals, not today. This 5G is so bad, it just flattened everybody. This 5G, there's a reason why our last president, the one that cared about us, the reason he kicked the Chinese out of the 5G market in this country, which from what I understand, the current president has allowed them back in. But the reason he kicked them out is he realized that they could control the frequencies that 5G towers would emit. And those frequencies can literally bring you to your knees in pain and agony with the frequencies that they could emit. As it is, they are just electrocuting your cells like a cattle prod. Like a cattle prod. Some of you have the watches, whether it's an Apple Watch or what was the other one that you could turn it upside down and you could see it going. Well, they stopped doing that because it was showing people you're cattle prodding your cells. You know what a cattle prod is? You stick it and the cow moves because it's really shocking the cow. Well, that's what you're doing 24/7 when you're wearing one of those monitoring watches if you don't have protection on. It's a real challenge. Really, an athlete that's wearing it, you're decreasing your ability to perform at the optimal because it's sucking the life out of you. Your cells are focusing on trying to survive that electrocution, the constant electrocution, rather than performance of what they know needs to be done. Survival first. Remember, survival's first. And the Bible is designed to survive, not to be healthy. Your job is to keep your body healthy. That was Dr. M.T. Morter years ago. He taught that, and it's served me well. When I look at things a little differently than a lot of people. And that too has served me well. So you've got your body not being supported by any energy from the food you're eating, because it's been flattened energetically by the same overwhelm that you're being flattened with. Your pets, they're being flattened. Your water, no matter where it is, the towers, the lakes, and all being hit, everything is being crushed by this overwhelm. And there are people that know what they're doing with this, and it's not good. And there are others that just don't know, and they go along with it because, we love 5G, right? It's fast. As a businessman, I love 5G. Are you kidding? But from a health standpoint, no, I do not like it at all. Now, am I protected? I have my amber shields, which are the ultimate protection. This is a nice flat one, good for the pocket. Other amber shields they're all different. They're more in a round shape. This is like a extra large. You set this on I'll let you take it out of you set this on your desk or whatever. So long as you're within 2.5 feet of this, you have full protection, 90 to 96% protection against 5G, and even the natural negative geopathic grid, which if you're over one of those grids, you are having the life sucked out of you. So you're sleeping over generally about 2 of those negative grids when you're sleeping, because it's like a checkerboard all over the earth. And if you're emotionally distressed, sorry if you hear that barking down there, but if you're emotionally distressed, if you're sick, you're much more susceptible to this. Can you hear that barking? Oh, good. Okay, I won't get up. Okay, so and I used to only have the harmony cube. It's the only thing that would, wipe that out. You have to have it on the floor and 55 feet in all directions. So it would do an entire house, and it would negate that. And I would insist if someone had the big C or a real serious illness that they get the harmony cube from ewater.com, and it would just nullify that. Easy to test before and after, really easy to test. But that was the only thing that would handle it. Well, then the amber shield, and this is amber, the big chunks of amber, not all that easy to find, big chunks of amber, because it was the only thing that would hold the technology that neutralized or transformed the negative energies that adversely affect your body. And the amber really has nothing to do with the result other than it holds the technology that has everything to do with the result. And so if you're within 2.5 feet of it, you're protected entirely. Your thoughts, your phone, unbelievable. It was designed because I had a hybrid car, which I had to do because of a certain health condition that I had based on damage done to my body before I was a teenager that I didn't even know I had. Caught up with me 20 years after it would have caught up if I hadn't made the major changes, which I hope some of you make in the future for yourselves, but it's up to you. Anyway, my energy worker on the West Coast found out I had a hybrid car. He said, Fred, it's cooking your brain and literally cooking your heart. He said, you get out here. I said, well, I have my protection. He said, get out here. So I flew out with my original EP2, which was smaller than my EP2 Plus. And he drove me to a Toyota dealership, put me in the hybrid car, perfectly fine, started it up, boom. I went weak immediately. Oh, you're kidding. I said, but I have my EP2. He says, not strong enough. And, that always bothers me. You got to have it effective. And so I went back, tail between my leg, and I said, this is a problem. I mean, aftermarket, I could get up to 50% protection for about $1,500. Aftermarket shielding, that's one way of dealing with it. And then I woke up and I said, well, I got this big salt lamp that I impregnated with this technology, and it will do a moderately sized room. So he said, bring it out. So I flew out and came back the same day, flew out, put it behind the seat. I already had my wife test me as strong. So had that. Yes, I was strong. And then he touched my brain. Boom, I went weak, touched my heart point, which means they were highly reactive to this hybrid overwhelm of electromagnetics. That means any electric car other than Tesla. Tesla has put a Faraday cage in every one of their cars from day one. What does that tell you? That he, and of course, all the other manufacturers, they know there's a problem. He did something about it. None of the others care, just like cell phones. They don't care. They don't care. If they admit it now, they open themselves up for a lot of lawsuits. Can you imagine them admitting they've known for years that cell phones caused a problem, but everyone is suing them. So they can't. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So it's up to you and me to take care of that. So I go out there and then I'm flying back and I'm thinking, I gotta, and then I woke, I said, Fred, this is, sometimes I can be a little slow. I am a male. Women, you understand that, right? I am a male. Sorry, Don. And so I said, wait a minute, this is what you do. So I started calling my Russian former Soviet geniuses. And, and the third one I called literally, Igor. I said, Igor, are you aware of the problem with the cars, the hybrid cars and electric cars? He says, oh, yeah. I said, do you have any solution? He said, yes. I said, really? Well, let me buy a couple of those and test them out. Because see, I test. They don't know how to test the way I test. They have their own ways, but I test with the body. So I brought them in and they were about 65%, which is about what this is when it comes to 5G. And so I'm testing, and it's just not enough, folks. I'm sorry. 35% crap coming in, too much. And I'm thinking, so what? Why? So I'm testing, and he's using the amber that he's using is just too small. He's not using large enough chunks. So I figured out through testing, how large does it have to be? 50 to 56 grams. Brought in some pieces, had them impregnated with the technology. Sure enough, 90 to 96% protection. That I can live with. And so the Amber Shield is your ultimate protection from all forms of negative energies, because that's what afterwards I started testing it on things, and I was like blown away because it's a transforming technology. This is what like a radio receiver and amplifier of those natural supportive harmonic energies that support cell function. And this one expands your natural energy field so that the chaos around you has to go through coherence, like darkness hitting light, and it can't stay darkness, can't stay chaotic. So it just brushes your cheek instead of giving you a bloody nose all day, which is what it's doing now if you don't have protection. The challenge with this one is you have to have cell function of 40% or higher. But your people that you know, and maybe you too, you may only have 0.5%, 1/4%, 1%. You have to be 4 or 5% cell function in order to utilize nutrition efficiently. Otherwise, your body's throwing away the majority of the nutrition. It says, I'm not going to spare the cells that I'm using for your survival to use that nutrition. But you say, but tomorrow they'll be healthier. Your body doesn't think about tomorrow. It only thinks about today, your survival today. Get that through your head. It's very important to understand. That's why it's your job to get those cells supported and wake them up so you have 4 or 5%. Now the body says, okay, I'll release some cells to work with the nutrition and keep it going. That you do sipping with the Quanta water every 30 minutes. You'll go up about 2% per day. So by the third day, you start your nutrition. You don't start your nutrition the first day, or you're going to have diarrhea. You're going to have some funny things going on in your body because the body's freaking out. Don't do it. Start it on the third day of sipping Quanta water using a timer. What do you mean using a timer, Fred? I can't use a timer. Yeah, you have to use a timer. Set your phone to go chirp, chirp. Use an egg timer. I don't care. You have to. Oh, but what if I'm in a meeting? It'll go chirp, chirp, and you reach. You go squirt, half a teaspoon. That's why it has a sports top to it. And you proceed with your meeting. Well, I don't know if I could do that. Speakers do it all the time in front of 40,000 people. Pastors do it all the time. They go over and get a drink. Who are you kidding? This is your health. Do it once, do it right. You don't have to do it again. Got it? And then to support it, you either spend $50 to $100 a month on Harmony drops or Quanta water, or you get yourself a Quanta mug. If you can see that, it says Quanta Harmony Health Quanta Energy Mug. We have it in this 25 ounce, which is the size you should get, just, for many reasons. You can put bottles in it, charge whatever it is. You can, your shakers, of course, I didn't have my shaker up here. Your shaker, you can put in there. You can put bottles of virtually anything on the mug, because it's like a lightsaber. Whatever you put in it or on it, and it'll energize what you put on it. And once it's energized, after, depending on the size of whatever it is, 5, 10 minutes, it'll stay energized. Now it's bringing life to your body. Apples, I haven't found a decent apple to eat in several years now. Isn't that awful? I grew up on apples. I love apples. I love apple pie. But I haven't found a decent apple. But I found that if I buy at least a half decent apple that's kind of crisp, it's got no energy, got no life. I'll peel it. I'll stick a knife through it, and I'll set it across my mug and let the mug energize it for 5 minutes. It tastes sweeter because my body now wants it. It's got something, it's bringing life to the body. All your body's senses go on openness instead of shutting down. When something tastes awful, that's your taste buds saying, don't eat it, because it's not good. When you smell something and it smells putrid, that's your body saying, I don't want that. Listen to your body. The same herb today could smell, and tomorrow you smell and it's sweet. It means tomorrow your body wants it, but today it doesn't want it. Again, empty mortar. Taught that, and it's so good. My wife does it to this day. I just test. All right. So those are some of the very basics. The Quanta water, Harmony. Now, overseas, they can't always get the Quanta water. It's very expensive to ship water. But they use the Harmony drops, and Harmony drops, 1 drop per 100 pounds of body weight, will do the same as a sip of the Quanta water. So they can put the drop, on, and they just rub it like this. By the way, that also, with the Harmony drops, that clears all the stagnant energy. I don't have time to explain stagnant energy. You're collecting stagnant energy, which blocks your organ function severely. For instance, if you you have put someone's fingers in a scrunch on their liver, they'll go weak most every time, because they're being blocked by this stagnant energy, which again is overwhelming us. And so if they did a liver cleanse, they're going to feel like they just flushed a plugged toilet. The Herxheimer effect. Oh, it's just a healing crisis. I got about a minute here to go, and on the outside of my time. And so that's what's going on. But if they cleared with the Harmony drops and got their cell function up, they could do the liver cleanse and they'll feel fine. By the way, in most cases, you do not do a cleanse when you're sick. Cleanses will throw your body out of balance in most cases, and your body is weak. You don't stress it with a cleanse. Oh, but I thought that helps the body. No, that'll help maintain your health. Once you get your body healthy, please understand the sequence. And I'm not the only one that feels this way, but I feel this way because I've observed the truth of it, not because I read it somewhere or somebody said it. I've observed the truth. All right. Now, what can you do to protect yourself from just some of the electromagnetic overwhelm that is all around you, like my shirt swirling? What can you do to protect you and your kids? Well, one thing I haven't shown you yet, and Cheyenne, you don't even know about this one. This is the first time been able to find an attractive bracelet, amber bracelet, where when you or a child is wearing this, now it's too small for a man. Most men's wrists are too large. But for the women and the children, if you're wearing this, 89% protection. I mean, that is beyond anything else out there. Not as good, excuse me, as the Amber Shield, but try to give this to a child where they don't break it into pieces or put it in their pocket and think it's going to be there when they come home. But, you know, it's just, I'm a practical guy. But put this on a child's wrist, and it has to go all the way around and clip it. They're not likely to lose it, but they're protected from 5G, 96%, but from cell phone, from the radiation, the school, even the negative geopathic. Think about your kid. If your kid's seat is over a negative grid, sucking the life out of their body the entire time they're sitting in school, and you're getting those notes home from the teacher, hey, your child is disruptive, is always getting out of his seat, always wanting to go to the bathroom, always fidgeting. Yet he doesn't do that at home. He's over a grid like that. Either donate a Harmony Cube for $500 for that classroom, they set it on the floor and he'll stop, or give him the bracelet, or have him put an Amber Shield in his desk. But they move around depending on the age. So you understand, there are solutions, but people don't understand the problem first. Oh, it's the child's problem. Let's drug them up to the hilt with drugs. No. Have me do Eric's Edna. If you know Cheyenne and old, what's his name there? Don. Don is an ace with the Eric's Edna. Don was clearing people before Cheyenne would even touch him. He was like an ace, and is. What that does, it'll clear children as well as adults, all the past trauma, all the negative emotions from the past that get into the DNA and are literally sucking the life out of these kids. Their self-esteem suffers. There can be spiritual things like sins of the forefathers that pass on generation after generation. You don't even know what's happening, but it really will screw up your life. Eric's Edna finds those. If they're there, they know how to clear them. It's easy. Or you call me, I'll take care of it. When they're cleared, it's permanent. This is down to the DNA. You will see a change in the child so significant. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And there's no psychologist, no psychiatrist, no pharmacist, no drug, nothing that can do what 20 minutes to an hour can do for a child, getting all that cleared. It's much easier than an adult, much easier. An adult could take anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. Is it worth it? You betcha. And for that, I charge $450 for a full clearing. Oh, but it's guaranteed. If you're not ecstatic with the results, you don't pay. So it's that important. But then I show you the 5 simple steps. Rather than go through those on how to, even if I don't work on you, restore your cell function, then restore your health, then maintain your health at less cost than you ever thought possible. Not cheap in the beginning, by the way, not as much as you'll spend otherwise. And if you didn't have insurance, you have a baby today. What is it? $30,000, $40,000? Are you freaking kidding me? Find me a rice paddy. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. All right. $30 worth of, $50 worth of stitches now are $3,500 just to have 2 or 3 stitches put in a child. I mean, it's insane. So it's much more affordable to stay healthy, and go to highenergyhealing.com. That's HIGH, write it down, highenergyhealing.com. And you'll see some testimonials, short testimonials that'll knock your socks off. 18 minutes of me explaining some of what I've explained now. The quantum mugs, the EP2 plus stress pendant, the EMR smart patch for the phone. I just touch on the Amber Shield. I'll tell you how to get more information on that. But it's the book that you can then download at no cost to you as your gift from the Kramers that you can download. That is genuine. You spend $20 on Amazon if you want the hard copy, but it's not updated. The one that you can download is the same one, but updated, much easier to read. It's been geared so it's an easy read. You will get answers you won't find anywhere else. But then there are 4 short videos, 10 to 15 minutes each, so that guys' short attention spans can handle them. And each one of those 4 videos goes through the steps that you can take, and it'll absolutely transform your life. But if you share it with friends and relatives, some of them too will literally transform their lives. And for a number of them, they'll save their lives just with the information that you can give them on that site, which is generic, so that you can make it available. If they want to contact me, you can send them to me. That's fine. I'll do 3-ways. I'll do Zooms. This is my passion. This is what I do. I have a crew at my brick and mortar business, ewater.com, that handle that beautifully. They don't want to even see me in there. I don't even know how to turn the computers on in my business anymore. Such a life at 71 years old. I mean, it's nice being able to do this on a Saturday morning. This is my love. This is my passion. But then you have one more site I'd like you to know about, which is waterdocenterprises.com. So you got on this Zoom by going to waterdocszoom.com, which with waterdocszoom.com, every Monday night at 8:45 Eastern, 7:45 Central, and extrapolate whatever time zone you're in, I'm on with Dr. Joel Wallach, who is the author of Dead Doctors Don't Lie and 24 other books translated into up to 9 languages. His book on 600 previously unknown cures is in the Smithsonian as a national treasure. You could not get the time with this doctor that he gives us an hour and almost an hour and 15 minutes most Monday nights, where he shares information first and then he takes questions and answers. And you want to learn? Cassie has been doing that every Monday now. You want to learn? They are extraordinary questions and health challenges, and he doesn't avoid any of them. And then there's me stirring the pot, and I make sure it stays interesting. Doc is fascinating, but I push him off the path. He's been doing this for so long, he's almost on automatic pilot. So I push him off the path and make him share the incredible depth of knowledge he has in his well, but he doesn't bother doing it unless I say, so what's in the heart and brain pack, Doc? Don't just say heart. What's actually in there that's creating all this response? And that's what we do. But the waterdocenterprises.com, that has information on my Irks Edna, the training, etc. And even if you wish to get that, you can call me directly. I'm sure Cheyenne would allow me to put my phone number up, which is 214-878-2568. And if you missed it, I only say it once. I'm kidding. 214-878-2568. And then on waterdocenterprises.com, you just go up there and you click on whatever you want. You want information on the quantum mugs? Click on quantum mugs. You want the workshops? Click on workshops. You want Amber Shields? Click on Amber Shields. I would recommend that, because there you'll find out much more. Now, here's the key. If you want to get the mug, and it'll save you its cost in 1 month of not having to buy additional Harmony drops and Quanta Water every month to keep your cell function up, because they don't turn those satellites off. They're increasing that overwhelm. You get one of those, and for instance, this one is a $139 mug, worth every penny. You can get it discounted to $89. But if you use the code YGY VIP. YGY, very important person. YGY VIP, all capital letters. At the very end of your purchase, at the very end, it'll ask you for it. You get another $20 off. It's only those people who have that code. Darlene, you had a question? There you go. She knows how to unmute herself. Oh my God.
I was just wondering about checking on your order. I didn't get my order, so I was just checking on to find out, do I need to replace it or what do I need to do?
No, you need to send me a text and tell me what order, when, etc. Not
When
here.
you did the
Not-
healing. Okay, when you did the healing, but
Oh, okay, yeah. Then yeah. So send me a text, hard copy. I
Okay.
need. I'll get off this and I'll be pulled in 16 directions, but your text cannot
Yeah.
escape. And I'll
well, I
look.
just did. Is Patrick in on the weekend?
He'll respond if necessary. Yeah, but
Okay.
he'll respond more if I forward it to him. He
All
doesn't.
right.
He doesn't. He's got a family. He's got a life, and he's
Yeah.
terrific, as you know. But let's see. And how long ago did I work on you? It's been a while, Darlene.
Yeah, it's been about a month or so. So that's what I was going back on my calendar. See, my calendar is, not very active.